Ο γνωστός δημοσιογράφος που είναι αυτοεξόριστος, ο Αμπτουλάχ Μποσκούρτ, σε δημοσίευμά του παραθέτει στοιχεία και αναφέρει ότι η Άγκυρα επικαλείται τη συνθήκη της Λοζάνης του 1923 και τη συνθήκη ειρήνης Παρισίων του 1947 για τα νησιά του Ανατολικού Αιγαίου και δημιουργεί ένα προηγούμενο για πιθανή εισβολή. Στο χάρτη έχει τα νησιά Χίο, Σάμο, Ικαρία, Λίμνο και Σαμοθράκη. Αυτή η κατάσταση βέβαια που έχει δημιουργήσει είναι με επιστολές, όπως παραθέτει και στα Ηνωμένα Έθνη και στον ΟΗΕ, για να δημιουργήσει την δικαιολογία για πιθανή εισβολή. Εκείνη ακριβώς την εποχή θα έχουμε και επίθεση των Τούρκων.
Someone from across the agency.
Thank you for being here, Ambassador.
It is my pleasure. Of course, what I heard is not very pleasant coming from the...
I thought so.
Yeah, but of course, it's not me to counter all of your arguments. You have a counterpart back in Ankara that would be very happy to discuss all these issues with you. And here in Norway, in Oslo, we are not in a position to solve Turkish-Greek issues. But since you came here and told about these to the audience, I would like to point out a couple of pertinent issues with what you have said, Excellency. Respectfully, you are claiming, or you are actually saying that Turkey is doing this and that, but you are missing one point, that all of these actions are in response to something you have been doing. So these are consequences. The Turkish-Libyan agreement was also a consequence of something that you also know very well. And the Casus Belli declaration by the Turkish Grand National Assembly was also a consequence that Greece was telling that they will go ahead unilaterally declaring the continental waters as 12 miles, and this would practically lock Turkish waters, Turkish ability to reach international waters, and Turkey will be locked into its own territorial waters. That is what you are imposing, or you are trying to tell Turkey. The UNCLOS, during the negotiations of UNCLOS, Turkey was a persistent objector to the notion of the islands having exactly the same effect on the delimitation, because in the Aegean case, it is impossible for us to accept this. Aegean Sea is a very specific case, and as you were telling that one side of the sea should be able to look at the other side, and delimitation can be done only by the two. So in case of Turkish-Greek issues in the Aegean and all other issues, Turkey is in desire of making it through dialogue, solving it through dialogue. And I was very happy to note that next week probably there will be a new chapter of talks, consultative talks between Turkey and Greece at the deputy ministers level. And we are actually looking forward to solve all of these issues through dialogue. Aegean Sea has two sides. There is a landmass on the other side that you are forgetting. That is called Asia Minor. You may remember it from the history. And it is the landmass of Asian continent that you would like to totally ignore. My island, and it has the same effect, cut-off effect in the delimitation as the landmass of Turkey. So this is of course, impossible for us to accept. And that is the starting point. You were telling that you are ready to talk to Turkey on the basis of UNCLOS. And Turkey didn't join UNCLOS because we cannot accept the situation in the Aegean as the solution. So we are not able to have this dialogue on the basis of UNCLOS only. As Professor was saying, international law can be one of the basis of solutions, and the others are fairness, equality, and mutual rights. If you are ready to accept or to take into account Turkish issues, Turkish rights, and Turkish needs in this matter, we can always talk and sit and talk and solve these problems. That is what. And you also failed to mention about the demilitarized status of some of the islands that was mentioned. That is also one of the issues that we would like to discuss when it is about the international law and application of it. I think according to the international law, agreements are part of international law, direct agreements, and Lausanne Treaty and the 1947 Paris Treaty asks you not to militarize some of its islands, which is not accepted. So there are many others, but this is just as a beginning.
Okay, thank you, Ambassador. Minister, would you like to respond briefly? So in some sense, an invitation to talk?
I will.
But on the conditions of what?
First of all, I would like to thank the Ambassador for being, I said it before, for being here today. Of course, there's no question. So directly, it was another statement. But in a way, Ambassador, I would also like to thank you for verifying exactly what I said. Because in the essence, if you allow me to repeat, you said that it's legitimate for Turkey to issue a casus belli against us, a threat of war. If you, well, being a diplomat, I take it that interrupting is not within your rules of conduct. Now, I start again. You say openly to an audience, and luckily also you are in the internet, that threatening with war any country is legitimate. But if I remember well, from what I was taught in university, but also if I remember well, you have subscribed to the United Nations Charter. And if you allow me my memory to serve me well, that totally prohibits the use of force and the threat of the use of force. So if you allow me to ask, not you, but Turkey, because it's not a personal issue, isn't the casus belli exactly what is prohibited by the United Nations Charter? Does the United Nations Charter condition this prohibition upon your interpretation of what Greece said it would do, according to what? To an international convention which 168 parties have subscribed to, with the proud exception of Turkey? Even the United States, who has not ratified the UNCLOS, is advising every country in the world to subscribe to the UNCLOS. And here comes Turkey, which says, because I didn't subscribe to the UNCLOS, you are not allowed to implement UNCLOS, and if you do implement UNCLOS, it's a threat of war against you, and that's that, because that's what I want. Is that a reasonable conduct of doing things in the 21st century? Is that really an invitation to a dialogue, or is a pure threat? And I could use much harder words than a pure threat. So, the truth is that the difference between Greece and Turkey are solvable under one precondition, that Turkey comes to the 21st century. If Turkey stays in the 19th century, if Turkey stays in in the way that Suleiman the Magnificent was conducting affairs, by having the armadas around the Mediterranean, then this is a no-go. It's a no-go. But in my humble opinion, there is the possibility that Turkey will change its ways and its understanding, because I deeply believe that this is to the benefit of the Turkish society. And if I'm allowed to repeat myself, there is a huge dynamic that could exist if this issue has been resolved. And by the way, last remark. The ambassador said that the Turkish-Libyan memorandum was a reaction to something. What was that something was not revealed to us. But again, the question is, how can any illegitimate reaction could be acceptable? I mean, is the real answer to that would have been, no, you're wrong. The Turkish-Libyan memorandum is a legal agreement. I heard that it's a reaction to something, but yet again, nobody on this earth can defend this agreement on legal grounds. The legal point is exactly the same as if Turkey has delimited with Singapore, or by the way with Brazil, or with Patagonia or whatever. How can that stand in today's world? Thank you.
Okay, thank you also. Now Osman is there.